नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते राधानाथ स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात्य देशतारिणे। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितमेन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सखगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सखगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगतपदे गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसूते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ईश्वरा परम कृष्ण सच्चिदानंद विग्रह अनादिरादिर गोविंदा सर्व कारण कारणम। हरे कृष्ण। By Lord Sri Krishna's causeless mercy, we are nicely studying Bhagavad Gita, and now today we are going to study in the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita. We finished about 24 slokas in the third chapter. So, yeah, 5 days a week we are studying. Right now we are in the 10th chapter. We study one sloka a day. But today, basically Saturday evening, US time, and Sunday morning in India time, we are studying in the third chapter right now, and we are going to study 4 slokas today. So, in the third chapter, which is Karma Yoga, so Krishna is teaching us to act, basically, how to act. And we need to act in such a way that it actually frees ourselves, releases ourselves from this material bondage. That's what is Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is all about acting, acting, acting. So we need to really actually act like they say that when the films, like when the actors are acting, so they are not really actually, it's not real, it's just acting. So like that here, we should also be actually not attached. We should not be attached to the results. We should be simply acting, that's it, without any attachment to the results, not getting affected by the results. So then we will be freed from the results. We will not be we will not be bound by the results. So that's what this Karma Yoga is about. Because Krishna is teaching us that in the second chapter itself, Krishna told very clearly that we can act, we have a right to perform our duty, but we cannot get ourselves attached to the results, because we don't have a right over the results, so we should not be attached to the results. That is the main thing. So if we are attached to the results, then we will be bound by the results. So in the third chapter itself, we studied that any activity which we do, any action we do, that is which is not connected with Krishna, is actually going to bind us to this material world. So that way, we should learn this technique of acting without ourselves getting affected by the results, without ourselves getting bound by the results. That is the main thing. So that Krishna is teaching in Bhagavad Gita. So that is what is called yoga. The yoga means we will achieve the status of yoga. That means we are not affected by the results of our activities. At that time, we can declare that we have achieved yoga. So knowing this very well from Bhagavad Gita, we should act in such a way that at no point of time we should be affected by the results. How can we ensure this? How can we make sure that we are not getting affected by the results? So that is possible only if we do all our activities for Krishna. And that is possible only if we are able to actually find happiness within ourselves, within Atma, by doing all our activities for Krishna. So if you are able to experience, happiness within ourselves, so then we will not be attached to the results in this material world. So for that, we need to understand this Bhagavad Gita fully, and then just do everything what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Just do everything what Krishna says. That's it. Because there is no question actually, no confusion actually. Anything Krishna says, if any question or any confusion arises, Arjuna himself is asking Krishna all the questions. So that way we understand everything very clearly. For example, in the sloka number 52-53 in the second chapter, Krishna, after teaching Arjuna everything about the Buddhi Yoga, and Krishna says that when a person has got this steady intelligence, so that is what is called Achala Buddhi, or it is also known as Sthita Prajna. So Sthita Prajna or Achala Buddhi, so at that time one achieves the yoga. Tada yogam avapsasi. Shruti viprati pannate yata stasyati nischala samadhav achala buddhi tada yogam avapsasi. That is the way to obtain yoga. Then Arjuna is asking nice question. In fact, in one sloka he has asked 4 questions. Sthita prajnasya ka bhasha samadhistasya kesava sthitadi kim prabhaseta kim masita vrajeta kim. So what are the symptoms of a self-realized person who has achieved the samadhi status? How does he sit? How does he walk? What is his language? And what does he speak? So all such things Arjuna asks in that one sloka, for which Krishna is answering everything very clearly. So that way, when we study and understand all the chapters, all the slokas in Bhagavad Gita, that means we will not have any more questions to ask. Everything what we need, Arjuna has asked already. So we should be very, very thankful to Arjuna also. So because of that, Krishna gave all the answers. Because when Arjuna asks question in one sloka, Krishna answers in several slokas actually. Because Krishna gives the complete answer. So if we understand that way, how Arjuna understood Bhagavad Gita, if that way we also understand Bhagavad Gita, so then by Krishna's causeless mercy, like Arjuna was able to do everything for Krishna, so we will also be able to do everything for Krishna with satisfaction, with happiness. That way we will achieve happiness. We will be able to find happiness within ourselves by serving Krishna. So that is possible only if we understand Bhagavad Gita like as Arjuna understood. Because Arjuna was immediately able to change his mind completely. After understanding the entire Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna immediately decided, changed his decision actually. Because just before Krishna started giving him the knowledge, Arjuna decided not to fight. So he decided not to fight. He told Krishna also very clearly that I shall not fight. Nayotsya iti govindam. But after getting the complete knowledge of Bhagavad Gita from Krishna, then Arjuna decided to fight. Arjuna told Krishna that I am going to fight. So that means this entire Bhagavad Gita knowledge given by Krishna has changed Arjuna completely. 180-degree turn. That's it. A person who told Krishna that Govinda, I shall not fight, he is telling Krishna that Karishe Vachanam Tava. Now I am going to act as per your instructions. So Bhagavad Gita has got that much effect. For a person who is in the battlefield, who has already put his bow and arrows aside, Visirjya Sasaram Chapam, Soka Sammigna Manasagam. So Eva Muktva Arjuna Sanke Ratopasta Upavisat, Visirjya Sasaram Chapam, Soka Sammigna Manasagam. So Arjuna in the battlefield, because he was so much sad that he just was sitting in the chariot. He was not even standing. He was not even ready to fight. Even though in the beginning he was very much ready to fight. So in the beginning, Eva Muktva, in the Arjuna was actually, he was ready to fight. So, but at the end, after seeing all the friends and relatives and everyone there, so he decided not to fight. So in the beginning, Pravritte Sastra Sampati Dhanurudyamya Pandava. He was preparing his bow and arrows. Dhanurudyamya. Dhanurudyamya Pandava. Pravritte Sastra Sampati. So Sastra Sampati means he was taking his weapons, taking his arrows, and taking his bow, and he was very much ready to fight. But after seeing all kinds of relatives in the battlefield in both the armies, then he decided not to fight, and he was crying, and he just set the bow and the arrows aside. So, but he was asking Krishna to tell him what is good for him, what he should do. And when Krishna taught the complete Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gave the complete Bhagavad Gita knowledge to Arjuna. Then they changed completely. Arjuna, after understanding Bhagavad Gita, then he decided, he was telling that I'm going to fight for you. Govinda, I will fight for you. So that change should happen for all of us. For us also, we are studying Bhagavad Gita every day. And when we study this Bhagavad Gita fully and understand this Bhagavad Gita completely, we should also change like Arjuna changed. We should also do everything for Krishna. Everything we should do only for Krishna. Like Arjuna did only for Krishna. Arjuna fought only for Krishna. He didn't care about anything else. Even though he said so many reasons for not fighting, but at the end, he found only one reason for fighting. So in the first chapter, Arjuna told so many reasons. He tried to convince Krishna. Arjuna tried to convince Krishna that he should not fight in the battle. But at the end, after understanding the complete Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna got convinced that he should fight only for Krishna. That is the main change what we are seeing. So that is the effect of this most confidential knowledge, this Bhagavad Gita, which completely changes our mind. Because it purifies our mind. It purifies all kinds of misconceptions, all kinds of ignorance what we have. So because this knowledge brings everything to light, everything becomes very bright. And we know exactly what is right and what is wrong. We know exactly what to do and what not to do. Everything. So that's what we are understanding from this Bhagavad Gita. By Krishna's mercy, we are getting this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. And when we understand this Bhagavad Gita fully, like Arjuna, we are all going to change. We are all going to effectively make use of this life. We are all going to do everything only for Krishna's satisfaction. So that way our life will be very, very beautiful. So that way the Bhagavad Gita has got 18 chapters, 700 slokas, and we need to understand all the questions asked by Arjuna. What are all the questions Arjuna is asking? It's very important. And answers given by Krishna. So in the third chapter, we are understanding that Karma Yoga. In the Karma Yoga, Krishna is teaching us that you perform all your activities without any attachment. By doing so, you will be freed from this material bondage and you will reach the supreme destination. Tasmat asaktaga satatam karyam karma samacharan. Asaktogi acharan karma paramapnoti purushaga. Asaktogi acharan. Asaktogi acharan means if we perform our duties without attachment. Asaktogi acharan karma. Paramapnoti purushaga. We will attain the supreme personality of God. So that way, every day in our life, whatever activities we do, we should not be attached. We should not be attached to the results, but we should be attached to Krishna. Because we should be doing those activities only for Krishna. So that means we are attached to Krishna, not attached to the results of the activities. So then we will be able to achieve Krishna. And in this material world, this Maya is very powerful and very strong. It is very, very powerful, Maya. Devigi esa gunamayi mama maya duratya. Because we see people, they are so much attached to material sense objects, so much attached to materialistic things in this material world. So it's not possible. It's very difficult for them to find time to remember Krishna, find time to study Bhagavad Gita. We will feel ourselves very busy in this world, very busy doing all kinds of nonsense things, useless things, at the end simply to die miserably. That's what is going to happen. That is the fate. At the end, we are going to lose everything. But if we use our life right now very effectively in studying and understanding Bhagavad Gita and understanding the meaning of all slokas, what Krishna is teaching, everything, if we understand now very well, very clearly, then we will be able to go to Krishna's well, actually. We will be freed from this material bondage. So, the gain what we are going to get by studying and understanding Bhagavad Gita is the permanent blissful life in Krishna's well. No more death, no more old age, jara marana, moksha. So jara marana moksha means freed from the old age and death. Jara marana mokshaya mamashitya yadantiye te brahma tadviduhu kritsam adhyatmam karmachakilam. So jara marana mokshaya mamashintya yadantiye. So we should take shelter unto Krishna in order to get freedom from the old age and death. Krishna's well, we are always young. We will never get old. And we also never die there. So there is no death. So that's why jara marana mokshaya. So that way this Bhagavad Gita is the knowledge which is going to give us ever youthful life, always blissful life, and we are going to enjoy our life in Krishna's well. But in this material world, it is not possible for us to enjoy like that. In this material world, we are going to get old. Our body becomes very weak. Our senses are going to become very weak. And when we get old, we are going to get a lot of diseases. Our immunity also goes down. So that's why in this pandemic situation, old people are very vulnerable, because when they get, it's very difficult to cure them. So that way, we need to understand that in this material world, when the days go by, when the years go by, we are actually getting ourselves closer to death. So that way, it is the time for us to act now. We cannot waste any time. We need to effectively use the time. So what we need to do? Get this knowledge fully. That's the main thing. Understand this Bhagavad Gita fully, completely. So if you understand this Bhagavad Gita completely, fully, without any confusion, without any doubt, all these slokas, what Krishna says, all these slokas, everything we understand very well, then just follow in our life, then we are going to gain Krishna's kingdom. We are going to go to Krishna's will. So, karmanevegi samsiddhim asita janakadev. So if we just do this karma yoga, we will get siddhi, perfection. So we will be able to achieve the status of yoga. So that means we will be able to free from the material modes of nature, and we will be able to go to Krishna's will. Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. Brahma bhuyaya kalpate means we will reach Krishna's destination. That is the main thing. Brahma nirvanam richati. So that means we are going to go to Krishna's abode. So in the third chapter, we finished 24 slokas actually. So in the last few slokas, in the slokas number 22, 23, 21, 22, 23, what we studied last week, Krishna says that there is no work for me to do in all these three worlds, but I still do my work. So I don't have to also, nor I have to obtain anything by doing my duty. So Krishna need not get anything by doing his duty. There is no work for me. Nothing is binding me here to do anything. And nor I have to obtain anything by working. Name patasti kartavyam trishu lokesu kinchana. Nanavaptam avaptavyam varta evacha karmani. So, but still Krishna is here. Krishna came here. Krishna did a lot of work. Krishna was driving Arjuna's chariot, and Krishna did so much of work, even though nothing is binding, nothing is forcing. Krishna is saying that if I didn't do my duty, then I will be the cause for putting this world in trouble. Nakuryat karma chetagam sankarasya cha kartasyam upahanyam imaga prajaga. So, uchideyugu ime lokaga nakuryat karma chedagam sankarasya cha kartasyam upahanyami maga prajaga. That's what Krishna is saying. So if I didn't work, if then I will be the cause for the unwanted population. Upahanyam sankarasya cha kartasyam. Sankara means unwanted population. So this population here, people here should know, should understand this law of karma, should understand this Bhagavad Gita. But Bhagavad Gita is applicable to everyone. This Bhagavad Gita is applicable to everyone, everywhere in the world, whether they know it or not, whether they follow it or not. The principles given in Bhagavad Gita is applicable very much. So that way, Krishna is asking us, actually, Krishna is telling that if I don't come and do all these things, even though nothing is binding me to do all these things, even though nothing is binding Krishna to come here and give this Bhagavad Gita knowledge to us, but if Krishna did not give this knowledge to us, we are all in trouble. For example, ourselves right now, if we don't have this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, we can't even imagine, we can't even think about our future. Without having the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, we don't even know what we are supposed to do. We will be a completely confused state, and we will be simply taking repeated birth, old age, disease, and death. There is no way we can get out of this material bondage. So, but by Krishna's mercy, Krishna's causeless mercy, even though he was not forced to give this knowledge to us, but Krishna came and he gave this knowledge to us because he doesn't want us to suffer and struggle in this material world. Now Krishna is asking us also, the devotees of Krishna, us also to do the same thing. In order to deliver ourselves from this material world, in order to free ourselves from this material bondage, Krishna is asking us also to act like him. So how? That's what we are going to study in the next sloka. In the sloka number 25, Krishna is saying that, actually what we are starting today, Sakta karmani avidvamso yatha kurvanti bharata kuryat vidvams tata saktahe chikishu lokasangraham. Sakta karmani avidvamso. Avidvamso means a person who has no knowledge. That's what avidvamso, who has no knowledge of this Bhagavad Gita. So how he acts? He acts with attachment, sakta. Sakta means attachment. Sakta karmani. He is attached to the results of the activities. So sakta karmani avidvamso yata kurvanti bharata. How he performs. Yata means how. How he performs. So yata kurvanti bharata. How a person who has no knowledge of this Bhagavad Gita, so he is acting with attachment. So kuryad vidvams tata. Tata means similarly. How a person without the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is acting with attachment. So similarly, kuryad vidvams, you also act like that person only. Kuryad, you also do like that person. Kuryad. But vidvams means you have the knowledge. You have the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. You have the knowledge that you don't have the right over the results. You have the knowledge that the attachment to the results will bind us to this material world, bind you to this material world. So that way, you also act like that same person, but you don't have attachment to the results. That's what tata asaktaga. That's what tata asaktas. Tata asaktas means without any attachment. So a person who has no knowledge, how he acts with attachment, you act similarly, but since you have knowledge, you act without attachment. That's it. So that way, a devotee, when he does the work in this world, or a person who is not a devotee, who is attached to the results, he is performing the work in this world. Both of them from outside, when you see, it will look very similar. It will look very same. But the difference is that one person is attached to the results. One person doesn't have the knowledge and attached to the results. The other person, the devotee, has the knowledge and will not be attached to the results. So chikirsigu loka sangraham. So for the benefit of this world. So Chikirsiga Loka Sangram, to set an example for others. So to lead the society. So you don't have attachment. That's what Arjuna did in the battlefield. After understanding the entire Bhagavad Gita, when Arjuna was fighting in the battle, Arjuna didn't have any attachment to the results. Arjuna didn't care about whether he's going to win or he's going to lose. Even though in the very beginning, before fighting, Arjuna told Krishna that, Krishna, I don't know whether to win or to lose, then how can I fight? Nachaitad vidmaga kataran no gariyo, yadva jayema yadivan jayu. I don't know what is good for me. Fighting, winning or losing, I don't know which one is good for me. Then how can I fight? But at the end, he didn't care. He knows that fighting for Krishna is good for him. Doing everything for Krishna is good for him. So that way Arjuna has really set an example, but everyone else in the battlefield during that war, everybody thought that Arjuna is also fighting with attachment. Arjuna wanted victory. That's why Arjuna is fighting. But Arjuna didn't do that. Arjuna was fighting for Krishna. So that way, outside, externally, for the people, it looks like both are acting in the same way, but the devotee actually is different. The devotee is not attached to the results. Such a scientific knowledge Krishna is teaching. Then in the next sloka, that is the sloka number 26 actually. Na buddhi bedam janayed ajnanam karma sangina josayet sarva karmani vidwan yuktaha samacharan. Nabuddhi Vedam Janayedu Ajnanam Karma Sanginam. Ajnana means those who are ignorant, those who have no knowledge. Karma Sangina means those who are attached to the results of their activities. So, without confusing them, because we are setting an example for them, you are leading them. So, without confusing them, so you properly engage them. That's what Josayet. You properly engage them in all activities. Because you have the knowledge. You have the knowledge. Yuktaga samachara. So you properly engage them in the right way. That is the main. That opportunity is now there for all of us. Because what Krishna tells Arjuna, it is very much applicable to all of us, each one of us. So each one of us now having the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, because we are very, very gifted and talented people, devotees. There is no doubt. That's why we are studying Bhagavad Gita. It is the most confidential knowledge. Paramam Guhyam. And that knowledge Krishna is revealing to us. This Bhagavad Gita knowledge Krishna is revealing to us. So we need to make use of this knowledge. This is the most confidential knowledge. So now we need to show our leadership skills. Everything Krishna is going to give us. Krishna is going to give us the knowledge. Krishna is going to give us the strength, the energy, everything, whatever we need. But we need to set examples for everyone so that it will help the society. So, Chikirsiga Loka Sangraham. So, now the very famous sloka, the next sloka, the sloka number 27, which I quoted many times in the past. Krishna is saying that Prakrite kriyamanani gunaihi karmani sarvasaga ahankara vimudatma kartaham iti manyate. Prakrite kriyamanani gunaihi karmani sarvasaga. So kriyamanani means it is getting executed, it is performed, it is being done. So what? All the karmani. Karmani means all the activities. All the activities are performed by what? Prakrite gunaihi karmani sarvasga. The gunas, the three modes of modes of nature, which is born from Prakriti. So that's why in the third chapter itself, we studied in the fifth sloka, Krishna said that Nahi kaschit kshanamapi Jatu tistati akarmakrit karyatege avassaga karma sarvaga prakriti jair gunahi. Prakriti jair means which is born from Prakriti. Prakriti jair gunahi. Karyatege avassaga karma sarvaga prakriti jair gunahi. So the gunahi Prakriti Jai Gunahi means the gunas which are formed from the three modes of material nature which are formed from Prakriti. So that's why here Prakriti Kriyamanani Gunahi Karmani Sarvasana. So all the activities are carried out by Prakriti, by the gunas, the three modes of material nature. But Ahankara Vimudatma Karta Aham Iti Manyate. But a fool, Vimudatma means a fool, a foolish person, due to Ahankara, that means due to false ego. Why the word false ego here? Because he is not doing it. Really, he is not doing it. The three modes of material nature is doing it. If we are doing it, then we can say that I am doing it. So that is a true ego. When Krishna says that aham, 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 that is true. Because Krishna is doing everything. But here we are not doing anything. But we say that I am doing it. If something is really going great and really going good, we say that I did it. Everything I am able to do it. I did it. If something goes bad, we say that you did it. Here I didn't do anything. You didn't do anything. Everything is done. Everything is carried out by the three modes of material nature. Everything is performed actually by the executed by the three modes of material nature. So that is the knowledge. But when we are not doing it, but if we think that karta aham means I am the doer. Iti manyate. So if anyone thinks that I am the doer, so that means he has got ahankaram. So the meaning of ahankaram is very clearly explained in this sloka. Ahankaram, you just flip it. Ahankaram, karta, aham. So that aham will you put at the end and karam, karta you put at the beginning. So karta aham means ahankaram. Anyone who thinks that I am the doer, that means he has got ahankaram. Because in reality, we are not the doer. Only the three modes of material nature are doing everything. And how can we free ourselves from this ahankara? How can we? Krishna says that nirahankara, you free from ahankara. How we can do that? So it is possible for us to free from this ahankara only when we are able to think that nothing other than the three modes of material nature is doing everything. Nothing other than the three modes of material nature. Na anyam gunebhyah kartaram yatha drashtan pasyati gunebhyascha param veti madbhavam sodhigacchati. So anyone who thinks that na anyam gunebhyah kartaram, so nothing other than the gunas are doing everything. Na anyam gunebhyah kartaram yatha drashtan pasyati, when we is able to see like that, gunebhyascha param veti madbhavam sodhigacchati, he will be freed from the three modes of material nature. And once we are freed from the three modes of material nature, we are going to go to Krishna's well. That's why madbhavam sodhigacchati. Sagunan samatitaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. When we are freed from the three modes of material nature, bhakti yogena sevate, mamchayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate. So if we serve Krishna without any deviation, then Sagunan samatitaitan, we are freed from the three modes of material nature, then brahma bhuyaya kalpate, we are going to go to Krishna's way. So that's why in the next sloka, we are going to finish with the next sloka. In the sloka number 28, Krishna is saying that Tattvavittu mahabaho guna karma vibhagayogo gunaga guneshu vartante iti matva na sajjate. So anyone who understands this tattva, this philosophy, this fact, this truth, that only three modes of material nature are doing everything, we are not doing anything. So that's why tattva vittu mahabhago guna karma vibhagayo. So the difference between guna and karma vibhagayo, how the three modes of material nature is doing everything, we are not doing anything. Gunaga gunesu vartante. So that's the senses are going after the sense objects. That's why. Gunaga guneshu vartante. So if we just know that, we are not doing anything. The Atma is free. Atma soul is not doing anything. The only mistake what we are doing is that we are thinking that we are doing. That is the problem. That is the real problem. We are thinking that I am doing it, but I am not doing anything. Only the modes of nature are doing everything. So, naiva kinchit karometi yukto manyeta tattvavitu. So the same word Tattvavit, Krishna is also using in another sloka, which we are going to study in the 5th chapter. Naiva kinchit karometi yukto manyeta tattvavit. So I am not doing anything like that, we should think. That's what Naiva kinchit. Naiva kinchit karometi yukto manyeta tattvavit. Pasyan Srinvan Sparsan Jigran Asnan Gachan Swapan Swasan Pralapan Visrujan Grinnan Unmishan Nimishan Api Indriyani Indriyartebhya Vartanta Itidarayan Indriyani Indriyartebhya Vartanta. Senses are going after the sense objects. Gunaga Guneshu Vartante. So that's what. We are not doing anything. So we should be able to separate ourselves from this thing. That is possible only when we understand, study and understand Bhagavad Gita. So that way, gunaha gunesu vartante itimatva na sajjate. So anyone who understands this will never be attached to the results. That's what itimatva na sajjate. So for us, Krishna's causeless mercy, we are getting this knowledge. So this is a science. It's a practical science which we should be able to experience. Everyone should be able to experiment in our life. In fact, we need to use this instructions, all those things every day in each and every activity. We should actually use this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So then we will be definitely, there is no doubt, we will be freed from the 3 modes of material nature and we'll go to Krishna as well. So we are all on the right path. There is no doubt. So we will make progress. There is no doubt. Because we are getting this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, because Krishna is saying that idam jnanam upashitya mamasa dharmyam agata. If anyone gets this knowledge, will attain my nature. That's what Krishna is saying there. So we are all going to get Krishna's nature. We are all going to get freed from this material world itself. But it's only the matter of time. So how fast we progress, that all depends upon how much effort we are able to put. So by Krishna's causeless mercy, we have successfully finished 4 slokas today. So 28 slokas in the 3rd chapter now. Hare Krishna. I will stop now and we will discuss if any questions are there. Hare Krishna.